The scent of fresh-cut oak and mortar still clung to the air as Hannes Tiedemann crossed the threshold for the first time, his polished boots clicking on the freshly laid floors. He allowed himself the smallest of smiles through his tightly pursed lips. This was no immigrant's hovel, but a monument to his ambition. Unlike his neighbors here on Millionaire's Row, who were merely content with large homes, his was a true castle, a monument to family, to power, to permanence. But beneath the stonework, tragedy was already taking root. Made of sandstone from a quarry in Berea, the Tiedemann house was completed in 1865 and was meant to be Hans' crown jewel in what was then known as Millionaire's Row in Cleveland. Its Gothic structure, even to this day, stands out from the other Victorian houses on Franklin Avenue. However, the Tiedemann family carried only sorrow inside their great house, as 6 of his children passed away. Whether they all passed away in the house is unclear. What has been confirmed is in 1881, Hans' daughter Emma, just 15 years old, died of diabetes within its walls. Not long after, his elderly mother passed away in the same house. Each room that should have echoed with laughter instead became a chamber of grief. Still, Hans pressed on. He added to the castle secret passageways, hidden rooms, and doors that seemed to go nowhere. Some said it was his love of engineering. Others believed he was building hiding places for a much darker reason. Then came the greatest loss in 1895. Louise, Hans' beloved wife, died of liver disease. After years of death in the household, the castle no longer looked like a palace. It felt like a tomb. In the silence that followed, rumors grew. Neighbors whispered that Hans was a cruel man, that he had beat his children and drove servants to despair. Some said he hanged his daughter in the attic. Others insisted he shot his niece or murdered his mistress, concealing her body behind the castle walls. Although no record has ever proven these stories, but once the neighborhood began to whisper, the castle was never the same. Soon after Louise's death, Hans remarried. His second wife was a woman named Henrietta, but almost as soon as she entered his life, she disappeared. No death certificate, no grave, no obituary. History seems to have swallowed her whole. Some believed she left him. Others claimed her fate was darker, and that her cries could still be heard in the castle's upper halls. In 1896, Hans sold his castle. Perhaps he could no longer live inside the walls where so many loved ones had perished. By the time Hans passed in 1908, rumors of a curse on his family had spread. But was it just rumor? In 1929, Carl Tiedemann leapt 50 feet from the Clark Avenue Bridge. His automobile had sideswiped 2 other cars. Then, according to witnesses, a smiling Tiedemann walked over the railing and leapt over. His family noting peculiar behavior in the year prior, though no known motive was ever confirmed. Was this the Tiedemann curse at work? As for the castle, it did not rest. Its walls stood, heavy with rumor, its halls echoing with grief. And though the Tiedemanns were gone, the legend of Hans, the stern father, the shadowed widower, the man whose second wife simply vanished, lived on. Franklin Castle was no longer just a home. It had become a haunted monument, a place where tragedy rumor, and Gothic grandeur were forever entwined. But the castle's history was about to take a much darker turn. Stay tuned for the next chapter of Franklin Castle history.